Heavyweight Champion!
Well, what makes me so confident that I can win is I'm the greatest fighter in the world. I'm better than every other girl in every area of MMA. MMA striking is different, and I think I'm the best at it.
Holly Holm is the new UFC bantamweight champion of the world! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Ronda Rousey, the once untouchable queen of the UFC, now stands as a lightning rod for controversy. Her career, once sealed by dominance and unshakable confidence, was slowly undone by crushing defeats and comments that turned the world against her. From the bright lights of the octagon, Ronda ventured into the world of WWE and Hollywood. But was this career shift a decision she made freely, or was it the inevitable consequence of an unstoppable fall? Before her aura began to fade, Rousey scaled heights that few could ever dream of. She was the first female UFC champion, an icon who opened the door for women's MMA and became a trailblazer. With a stare that could freeze anyone, knockout power that struck like lightning, and a legendary armbar, Ronda became a female Mike Tyson. But in the blink of an eye, that empire began to crack. A stunning head kick from Holly Holm, a devastating loss to Amanda Nunes, and even WWE appearances met with jeers and boos. Public criticisms of her peers further chipped away at the image she'd so carefully cultivated. From an invincible fighter, Ronda became a cautionary tale, a shining example of how quickly a star can fall in the brutal world of professional combat sports. How did someone who once touched the very peak of invincibility fall so swiftly? Was it unchecked arrogance, a refusal to evolve? Or was it the unbearable weight of the world's expectations? To understand Ronda Rousey's rise and eventual fall, we have to go back to her roots, her rough and tumble childhood. Born with a cord injury that left her unable to speak clearly, Ronda didn't string full sentences together until she was 6 years old. But it was at 8 years old, after the tragic loss of her father, that her real battle began. Her mother, Anaria DeMars, a former world judo champion, stepped in to raise Ronda, guiding her to the training mats. Martial arts became her refuge, her purpose, and a way to carry on her family's legacy. As a teenager, Ronda poured herself into perfecting her armbar, sometimes practicing until her hands bled, forging a will of steel. Her relentless effort paid off. At just 21, Ronda became the first American woman to win an Olympic judo medal, earning bronze in Beijing in 2008. And then, the world of MMA called her name. In Strikeforce and later in the UFC, Ronda was a whirlwind. Fights over in under a minute, arm bars that hit like lightning, and a gaze that could make anyone flinch. It was a spectacle, a force to be reckoned with. But as with any great champion, the trap of winning too easily can be insidious. Confidence turned into arrogance. Ronda continued to rely on the same signature moves, ignoring the gaps in her game. 9 of her first 12 wins came from that devastating armbar, earning her the reputation of a one-trick pony. Some fans and critics were quick to point this out. One commenter bluntly asked, "Am I the only one who thinks Ronda Rousey's overrated? Her stand-up game is basically non-existent. Was she a solid fighter? Yes. But was she a great mixed martial artist? Not everyone agreed. Then in her 12th UFC fight, something shifted. Ronda's confidence seemed to spill over into cockiness, and her demeanor became cold, almost dismissive of the very fighter she once respected. When asked what made her so confident she could win, Ronda replied, "I'm the greatest fighter in the world," and many would point to that moment as the real turning point, the moment when she believed she was untouchable. But her belief in her invincibility would soon be tested by a fighter named Holly Holm, a boxing legend with multiple world titles to her name. In the build-up to the fight, Holm took the high road, always showing respect for her opponent. Holly's performances, not just some of them, have been impressive. All of them have been impressive. Shift to Ronda's brashness. Ronda, however, strutted into the press conference, oozing arrogance. "I'm better than every other girl in every area of MMA," she declared. In subsequent interviews, her bravado only grew. Weeks before the fight, she boldly proclaimed, "She can try to kick me in the head, but it's not going to go like that. Not the way she wants." Then came fight night, and everything changed. Holly Holm, true to her sportsmanship, extended a hand before the fight. Ronda, cold and distant, refused it. The stage was set for the so-called unbeatable queen to face the challenge of her life. And when the bell rang, Ronda learned the hard way just how real the sport of MMA is. Holmes shocked the world, landing the very head kick Ronda had dismissed as impossible. In an instant, the arena fell silent. Ronda collapsed. The referee stepped in and the fight was over. Ronda, once a living legend, lay defeated on the mat. Instead of owning her loss, Ronda reached for excuses. She broke down asking, "What am I anymore if I'm not this?" She cried out, "No one cares about me anymore without this." But the public wasn't buying it. One fan summed it up perfectly. Ronda's ego went wild. She thought she was untouchable, disrespected everyone, and trashed her opponents. She earned that knockout and the reality check that came with it. The loss to Holly Holm was a gut punch, a shockwave that rippled through the MMA world. But many fans still believed in Ronda's ability to rebound, to learn from her mistakes, and rise again. But Ronda's path to redemption wasn't as clear as fans hoped. At UFC 207, when Ronda returned to the octagon, hope filled the air. Her fans believed they'd see the dominant Ronda once again. But what they witnessed was not the fierce, commanding presence of old. Instead, Ronda looked tired. Her eyes were vacant and the spark was gone. Her opponent, Amanda Nunes, came into the fight calm and confident. She respected Ronda but was determined to prove herself, and prove herself she did. Within the first 10 seconds of the fight, Nunes attacked with sharp jabs, leaving Ronda scrambling. The familiar armbar didn't come, and Ronda crumbled under the pressure. Just 48 seconds later, the referee stepped in to stop the fight, and the crowd's boos echoed through the arena. Ronda's post-fight silence was deafening. She skipped the press conference, avoiding the media and her fans who had cheered her on for so long. Social media exploded with mocking memes. Analysts had their say.